Hey everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of The Shawning. I don't have any more incense, so I have my candle lit. I'm in my Scooby-Doo pajamas. I have my shining blanket and my new Freddie Mercury, Freddy Krueger shirt that my awesome manager bought me. And I'm ready to talk about some monster movies. Now, a little backstory. I was sick all week. Okay, I felt like poop on a stick. So all I did was just kind of stay in my room to myself and just watch movies. And I got the great idea to just make a top 10 of my favorite monster movies. And I'm gonna go through each subgenre of horror, and I'm gonna do that. For the first one, I'm gonna do the good old-fashioned creature feature, or the monster movie. We're gonna look at my personal favorite 10 monster movies. But before we get started, do not forget to like and subscribe. Also, just comment some movies you'd like me to talk about. Now, let's get talking about some monsters, shall we? Number 10 on this list is a newer horror movie, and that's going to be A Quiet Place. Personally, I think A Quiet Place was an amazing film. I think the use of silence in that film is what made it more effective. Also, the lack of knowledge of these monsters. You don't know anything about them. I mean, you don't really get to see one up close until the end of the movie. Number 9 on this list is a good old cheesy one, and that's Killer Clowns from Outer Space. There's so much to love about this movie. I mean, just the title alone, Killer Clowns. But wait, there's more. They're from outer space. I love it. My mom bought me this movie. She surprised me with it one day at work, and it's wonderful. If you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend it. Super cheesy and just good 80s fun. The effects are great, and I think for, little critter monsters or whatever, I think they're perfect. So I'm a huge fan of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and especially this scene.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
Number 8 on this list is gonna be, well, this one's kind of a weird one. This one's based off of a video game, and it's gonna be Silent Hill. This probably isn't on a lot of people's top 10s in general, and I completely understand that. But Silent Hill for me is just such a fun movie. I've watched it probably 100 or more times. And I just think that the creatures and the twisted distortion in that movie is just perfect. It's beautiful, it's gory, it's disgusting, but it's awesome. Not the maids. I love the nurses in that movie. They're super creepy. Number 7, I decided to pick between Predator versus Alien, and Predator's always the one that keeps me more occupied, and he's awesome. That, and we get to see Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is just awesome, because, he's always all the time, and it's just wonderful. And how do you not love Arnold Schwarzenegger? I love Predator. I don't know what he is, really. I think that his weapons are awesome. He's got that cool little sniper laser doodad. He's a classic. No, he's not higher on my list because he doesn't really scare me. Predator's more sci-fi. Number 6 is The Fly. I did a video on The Fly, so I'm not gonna, go too much in depth about this movie. If you want to hear my full opinion on it, definitely go check out my review of it. I love this movie. Jeff Goldblum, he's one of my favorites. The thing about this movie, though, that intrigued me is, yes, it is very much a monster movie. It has such a good, love story behind it. Reminded me of the classic Universal monster movies. Alrighty, number 5 on this list is Jeepers Creepers. I do not like 2 and 3. They're terrible. I mean, we don't even talk about them. Number 1 is my favorite. Justin Long, he was awesome. I think that the story behind Jeepers Creepers, and he even has that really cool, Jeepers Creepers, something peepers, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. And I mean, he was terrifying. His truck was terrifying. I thought that Bee Eating You was a really funny touch. I mean, I don't really know what you would consider it. I consider it a monster movie. Number 4 is a Stephen King. Why do I always mess up a name in my video? Stephen King classic, Cujo. I'm about to say something that's gonna get me a lot of hate right now. I am not a huge fan of Jaws per se. I have a lot of respect for Jaws, but it doesn't scare me as bad as Cujo does. And the reason behind that is because I see dogs way more than I see sharks. Cujo just seemed more realistic to me. Not only that, you got to see Dee Wallace, who is phenomenal. If you don't know who Dee Wallace is, she also played in The Howling, and in Pet Sematary, and in E.T. There you go. So, I mean, this movie was fantastic. Super simple, not much to it. But it was effective, and it scared me, even though I love dogs. Still scared me to death. But 3 is John Carpenter's The Thing. This movie is incredible. Whatever The Thing is super terrifying. I think that the effects for this movie's time, nothing compares.
Clear!
To the effects in The Thing. You have Kurt Russell, who is also fantastic. I think the setting of this movie is super effective. You have them isolated in the middle of Alaska, I believe, or Antarctica. I can't remember off the top of my head. But still, it's a creepy atmosphere, and then you have this monster running rampant that you don't know what it is. There's nothing to say about this movie that is wrong in any way. Number 2 is one of my personal favorites. You may have seen a certain Mogwai on the thumbnail of this video, and that would be Gremlins. I love Gremlins. I grew up with Gremlins, and I even like part 2. And no, it's not necessarily a scary movie per se, but it's still fun to watch. And I think that the idea behind it is fun. I think that all the different creatures, all the different Gremlins and Mogwai, especially in the second one, it's just a fun franchise. And also, let's not forget that we got to see Gizmo in a Mountain Dew commercial. Gremlins earned its spot, mainly because I grew up with it, and it's just, nostalgia always wins. You know how it goes. Number 1, and no, I didn't do an honorable mention, because let me tell you, this top 10, I didn't realize it was so much work, but it really is. Here we go. We're at number 1. I would say drum roll, but I can't do a drum roll, and I'm not going to try because I'm going to look stupid. Number 1 is 1990's It. Yes, it's my favorite movie of all time, but it's also my favorite monster movie. I think Pennywise is the coolest monster of all time. I don't know, I just think that the story of it is just so good. I've read the book. I love the movies, all of them, even the new ones. The story is gold. I think that focusing it around children was a super awesome idea. I think that focusing it around fear and clowns and just those aspects that everybody has dealt with in life as a child, and I think that's what made it so effective. You can empathize with these characters because you were there, and then when they grow up, you grew up too. So I mean, it all fits together so beautifully, and we get to see Tim Curry do his thing, and nobody does it better than Tim Curry. Everyone has their own opinion, and yes, it is cheesy, but it's still fun. Those are just my top 10 favorite monster movies. Drop in the comments below what genre you want me to do next, and I will definitely take it into consideration, and who knows, I might do it. You never know. I'm spontaneous. Y'all keep it creepy, and y'all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.